it's okay, but that's probably the least helpful answer I can possibly give you, so here's the rest of the video. First of all, I'm playing on Expert. In the higher difficulties, guards see through your disguise a lot faster, and they limit your number of saves. I thought that Expert would be a good middle ground, and I'm glad I chose it, because without saves, this game would be so much worse. The first thing you'll notice is that the game no longer looks like one of those modern indie horror games that thinks graphics peaked with the PlayStation and everything after that was a mistake. The opening level of this game isn't really a level, more just a chance to get used to the controls. Gontranno also serves as your hub area for this game, though it's less of a hub area, though more on that later. Anyways, great news, the controls are much better than Codename. First of all, it no longer defaults to using the numpad, so that's already an amazing sign. And I didn't really mention it in Codename, but there the buttons were mapped very weirdly. Here in Silent Assassin, the controls actually feel like a game that has been made sometime this century. This game does actually have mechanics, and I'll talk about them as they come up. Oh, and the inventory in this game is a lot more like what you would expect. The main thing is that guns now get compressed together, so if you pick up a gun you already have, you'll just get extra ammo for it, rather than carrying around 2 guns, one of which you can't use. Oh, and Ivan's back, in Scarecrow form. This thing is creepy. This game has a bit more of an emphasis on the story than Codename did. Basically, after Codename, 47 tried to retire and ended up working for this church in Sicily. However, there's this guy called Sergi who happens to be the brother of the plutonium runs loose guy, so great start, and he wants to bring 47 out of retirement to help him. No prizes if you figure out how he's gonna do that. There's also this mystery man helping him. If you want to know who he is, so does everybody else. Sergi has Vittorio, the priest, kidnapped to force 47 out of retirement. So the first mission is trying to rescue him from the Italian mafia that Sergi hired. Also, I don't really know where else to put this, but the music in this game is actually really good. Rather than spending money to buy equipment for missions, instead you collect weapons throughout the game and bring them back to Gontranno. I like this idea, it's pretty cool, but it does suffer from the same problem that the rest of all of the Hitman games have. Why would you use anything that's not a silenced pistol? So I mentioned that Gontranno is a hub area, and you can come back here after each mission and pick up items manually and use them, however most of the time you'll just be working through a menu. If you're just replaying missions, I don't think there's actually a way to get into Gontranno without finishing a mission first. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it is a little strange. Well, whatever, on to the first mission. The best change from Codename is that the intro to these missions are voiced so I can actually pronounce the targets' names. It's incredible. The goal is pretty simple. I have to kill Don Giuliani to get the key to the basement where Vittorio is being held. This game has a much bigger emphasis on stealth to the point where it's actually a stealth game. The cutscene points out the mailman guy, so I assume I should probably take his disguise. First new mechanic, I can use anesthetic to knock people out, and you can hold it longer to keep them knocked out for longer. Though they will always eventually wake up. I didn't learn this for a little bit, but I do figure it out later. If the person wakes up and you're still wearing their disguise, it'll very quickly become completely worthless. Well, more worthless than they already are, because next mechanic, suspicion. You have a little meter by your health that shows how suspicious you are. There's a lot that goes into how suspicious you appear, but the main thing is that if a guard looks at you long enough, you will always be spotted. You can do things to appear less suspicious, but it doesn't help all that much. There's just not a good way to stop you from being spotted other than trying to be quick. Oh, and speaking of being quick, running makes you more suspicious, so you have to crawl through molasses for most of the game. Yeah, the disguise system in this game is pretty bad. I kind of get what they're going for, but it really needs a lot more fine-tuning. There are a few disguises that will just almost always work, but almost every disguise barely holds up for a brief glance if you're lucky. I get that disguises in Codename were far too powerful, so you want your disguises to be weaker, but this ain't it. Alright, back to the mission. I decided I wanted to try to go through the back as the delivery guy, since that disguise seemed far more useful than the mailman. However, after watching and waiting for a while, there's just not an opportunity to grab the disguise without just shooting him. This is one of the other big problems I have with this game. If an NPC doesn't stop moving, you basically have no way of killing or knocking them out without just shooting them. Both the fiber wire and anesthetic require you to sneak up on your target, which is impossible if they're moving because your crouch speed is somehow even slower than walking. Alright, I guess I'm sticking with the mailman disguise then. Oh, and frisks are a thing. When you take the mailman's disguise, you get a warning that mailman can't carry guns, but I just assumed that meant open carrying them. But no, this meant that you can be frisked as the mailman. Although, thinking back on it, I'm pretty sure this is the only time in the game you actually get frisked. Kinda weird, I thought that would happen more often, but I guess it just doesn't. Okay, so if I want my gun, I'm obviously gonna have to sneak it in. So I hide my gun in the deliveries and hope nobody here is paid enough to care. Alright, next problem. Obviously, just delivering the flowers isn't going to get me very far. All it lets me do is walk into the first room to hand the flowers over, and then after that I'm pretty sure I'll be shot if I stay too long. So I take this time to look around for anybody who happens to be isolated. Well, would you look at that. I anesthetic this guy and then drag his body around another wall since I thought somebody might go through this door. They don't, by the way. They never use this door. From here I go down into the basement because if I try to walk through the front door I will just get shot and die. Because, you know, disguises are great in this game. Fortunately, the basement connects to the kitchen so I can go grab my silenced pistol that I guess nobody noticed. My initial plan was to get to the balcony where the guy is playing golf on, but it didn't really look like I had a timing where I could sneak in. Instead, after looking around for a while, I found some siding that I can walk on. This leads to the back of the house, and it was there that I learned the anesthetic does not last forever. The guard I knocked out wakes up, which makes me very suspicious, so I die. So next try, I just fiber wire the guard so I won't have to deal with this problem. You'd think this would void Silent Assassin, but it doesn't, because this game is weird. Oh yeah, this game also introduced the ranking system, so you can actually get Silent Assassin on the missions. Great. But obviously the system behind it has to be really complicated and kinda hard to understand. Basically, if you want to get Silent Assassin, there are a few stats that actually matter. Close encounters, alerts, shots fired, and innocents or enemies harmed/killed. People being harmed or killed is pretty obvious, as is how many shots you fired. But what are the other two? Alerts are when guards are suspicious because they have found bodies, dead or unconscious, unless it's a target apparently, or they hear loud gunfire. Alerts are not the alerts you get in the bottom left of your screen that something has happened. Obviously. So if you get the message that guards are looking for a suspicious postman, that doesn't matter. Close encounters are much easier. A close encounter is any time an NPC draws a gun on you. Specifically, a gun. So if an NPC only has a sword, they are incapable of giving you a close encounter. My understanding is that if you want Silent Assassin, you can have no more than one alert or close encounter, though sometimes these numbers can change to allow you to have 2 of these. You can't fire more than 2 shots, sometimes 3, and you can only kill 1 non-target unless you fire no shots, which lets you kill 2 guards. Confused? Yeah, I still am. The Hitman wiki is where I got my information, so you can pause to read it if you want something a little more in-depth. But okay, main takeaway, you can still get Silent Assassin by killing 1 guard, so I just kill the guy instead of knocking him out so he can never ruin my disguise. Then I just sneak back to the back of the house and fiber wire my target once he's alone. I pick up a key off his corpse and I head back down to the basement, though this time I take the fast way. Turns out Vittorio has been moved and the ICA has lost track of him. Darn. Well, off to St. Petersburg now. St. Petersburg is a set of 4 more medium-sized missions. Up first is St. Petersburg Stakeout, which is a mission where I have to assassinate a Russian general during a meeting that is being held with a bunch of other generals. For almost every mission going forward, I'm just taking some kind of silenced pistol as well as the anesthetic with me. Unfortunately, this never really changes, so I'm just not going to mention it going forward. I start by getting my equipment from the locker, though I do have to lockpick it because apparently the ICA can't provide me with a key. That would be too much for them, I guess. Inside the locker is a pistol and a sniper rifle that I'll probably need to use. And somebody immediately saw it. This is gonna suck, isn't it? Well, I don't think I can conceal a sniper rifle in this game, so I'll have to find a way to carry it. My first thought was that a disguise would let me carry the rifle, so I start by shooting this guy who conveniently hides himself for me. Thank you, random guard. And I immediately get shot trying to go up the stairs because the disguises in this game are completely worthless. For my next try, I decide I should probably not kill that guy since I am trying to go for Silent Assassin, so I might need to kill someone else later. That means I'm gonna need a new route, and well, this mission happens to have sewers, so I guess that's where I'm going. I look around for a bit and actually find where the sewers are, but now there's a new problem. How do I get my sniper rifle here? The subway station has a few civilians which have random movement paths, and if any of them see you carrying a gun, they'll run and tell the guards. To get to the sewers, I mostly just have to be patient. It takes me a few tries because I don't quite understand how the NPC sightlines work yet, but I do eventually make it to the sewers. I finally make it out of the sewers and there's a disguise right there waiting for me. And somebody saw me climb up out of the sewers. Ugh. Well, I guess I just have to do all that again. Frankly, I just don't enjoy this hiding a sniper rifle from everyone thing. It's quite annoying and it's just not fun at all. I think this stems from the fact that they hadn't really figured out what Hitman stealth would be yet in this game. In my mind, Hitman is always more of a social stealth game where you're trying to blend in with crowds and pretend to be people and stuff like that, rather than a traditional stealth game where you're just trying to not be seen at all. The stealth in this game isn't completely terrible, it just feels like they hadn't quite figured out what they wanted yet, though they are starting to get there. Well, I make it back, and this time I wait. Just ignore the gun barrel sticking out of the sewer hole, it's perfectly normal. Then I make a save, because I'd rather not do this again. I really hope I don't have to hide a sniper rifle from anyone after this. That sucked. I explore around a bit and discover that walking in front of the main building gets you shot. Lovely. It's a really good thing this game has saves. Anyway, instead of getting myself killed, I just go to the apartment next to the building to snipe my guy. But plot twist, there are 4 generals there instead of just 1. This is a plot twist, I just kind of forgot to make it one while scripting this, so I go ahead and act surprised. Okay, now that we're done being surprised, I have to identify my target. I am slowly being drip-fed information about the target like a particularly bad version of Freelancer. The information I end up getting is that he's bald, drinks a lot, and doesn't smoke, though honestly I didn't see anybody in the meeting smoking, so that one wasn't very helpful. Anyway, I identified my target as the guy closest to me, though I saved before the shot just in case. But when I looked back after saving, I thought maybe it was a different guy, and I kinda thought the model switched or something. So I ended up shooting the wrong guy. But that's why I made a save. In hindsight, I thought that far guy was drinking when he was in fact smoking, so that threw me off. Though the animations do look shockingly similar. After I shot the guy, despite the fact that multiple guards came running directly for me, they were surprisingly chill and didn't stop me or anything. I guess that guy must have been an asshole or something. Anyway, I just make my way back to the subway and leave. Silent Assassin. This mission is okay. I don't really like the whole hiding a sniper without concealing it thing, but that's okay. There won't be any more missions like this, I'm sure. As a reward for getting Silent Assassin on the previous mission, I unlocked the sawn-off shotgun. It's pretty cool, but I don't know why you get a sawn-off shotgun for getting Silent Assassin. Nothing about this screams silent at all, but okay. Sure, I guess. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, except for our client, the rest of the generals in the meeting did not like that one of their fellow colleagues got sniped in front of them. So now they're investigating who ordered the hit, so I have to kill the rest of them. Just instead of them all being conveniently grouped together, now I have to do 3 more missions to kill them all separately. Great. Up first is the Kirov Park meeting, where I have to kill one of these generals and his mafia contact. The first challenge in this mission is to get to the agency pickup. This is a little annoying since I spent the start of the mission looking at the map, which means the patrolling guard has time to get close to the pickup. So I just restart the mission and get to the pickup before the guard does. This mission gives you another sniper rifle or car bombs, and I take the car bombs because that seems like a lot more fun than trying to use a sniper rifle again. While looking around, I notice that there are more sewers on this map, so I'm assuming that's probably the best way to get around, since I doubt the guards will like it if I just exist around them. So I enter the sewers and make my way towards the first car, and it turns out it's parked right over the sewer grate. Very convenient. So I plant the bomb and make my way to the next car, though this one's not nearly as convenient as the first one was. Somehow I don't get shot for climbing out of the sewer like this. But once I do, the driver isolates himself for me. Very convenient. Now that I'm the driver, no one is suspicious of the bomb I'm placing under the car. Obviously. After this, they'll leave on their own and automatically blow up once they do. Unfortunately, the game doesn't have a picture-in-picture view, so I can't get to see them blow up. I didn't get Silent Assassin, probably because I'm not allowed to kill the driver, so I just restart and use an anesthetic instead. And yep, Silent Assassin. Overall, this was actually a pretty good mission. It's pretty short, but it's to the point and there's multiple ways to do it. Obviously, I went with the car bombs, but there is that sniper rifle in the agency pickup if you wanted to try to snipe both of the targets too. Alright, next general, and this time he has a prisoner who I need to free. I wonder who that could possibly be. I have to infiltrate his compound and then blow my way out with a particularly thin wall. Sounds fun. The first part of this mission is infiltrating the compound. This means a short sewer section and then sneaking my way through this mess. There are multiple ways to get to the compound from here, but I'll always have to get stuff from the agency pickup, so that's my first goal. This takes me a few tries to figure out, but it's all cycle-based, and it's just a normal stealth section, pretty much. There's a lot of stuff in the agency pickup, but from here there are 3 potential routes I can take to the compound. The first option is that you can sneak into the back of the truck and get driven there. The second option is you can use the sewers by the gates to get to a sectioned off part of the sewers. Lastly, you can go back to the original sewers and use those to get to the compound. The original sewers are the worst because it's really annoying to sneak back to them, and it's the route that involves the most guards once you get to the compound, so you might as well take the better sewers. For my first few attempts, I decided that I wanted to try to get into the truck. Since I'm still trying for Silent Assassin, I didn't kill anyone for their disguise, which makes this whole section a lot harder. Also, I'm cutting almost all of this out, but every time I fail, I have to redo the whole section leading up to the pickup. In hindsight, I really should have just saved here, but I was far too stubborn to use a save this early into the mission. Anyway, I reached the conclusion that trying to sneak onto the truck without a disguise is probably impossible. You have to crouch walk into the truck to not alert the people standing right next to it, but this gives everybody else ample time to spot you and ruin your attempt. I think it could be done, but it's just really hard, and it seems like it's a lot more trouble than it's worth. So instead, I decide I should just go with the sewer route. This also takes a few tries, because sometimes you get seen climbing down into the sewers. This is pretty random, and it feels very buggy, but eventually I do get down there and get to the outside of the compound. Now I finally make my save. Getting inside the compound was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I spent a while waiting on my first try, but it seems like the cycles got desynced or something, so it seemed like it was literally impossible for me to sneak my way in. But once I restarted, the cycles seemed to actually line up this time, so I could get in, grab a spare uniform, and head down the elevator. This awarded me a bonus save. This is nice, and I wish I knew about this beforehand. Unfortunately, there are only 2 missions in this game that give bonus saves, so it's not something to get used to. I think the basement section of this mission is probably the single best part of this entire game. Unlike before where you had like traditional stealth, this really feels like it's Hitman stealth. It also really feels like disguises and suspicion was balanced around this part of this mission in particular. This sucks for the rest of the game, but it makes this part incredible. All you can do is keep walking, and this builds the tension and atmosphere really well. You're frequently passing guards, and you can't really look behind you to see if they think you're suspicious or anything, because that would be suspicious. The underground bunker is obviously a very confined space, so there's very few places to back off and not be seen by people. So all you can do is walk forward and hope. Obviously it'll work every time, but I really love the atmosphere and tension this part builds. Anyway, there are 2 places I need to go from here. First is the security office to disable the cameras. This is shockingly easy. One of the doors is being watched by an officer, so I just go around. This door's not locked, doesn't have a camera watching it, nothing, so I can just walk in and shoot the cameras to disable them. I don't actually know if disabling the cameras helped anything at all, but it seemed like something I should do, so I did it anyway. From here, I have to go find an officer disguise to be able to go down to the lower level of the basement. Fortunately, there's just one laying there in an empty room. Once I get the disguise, I decide I should probably open up the exit now before I have to escort someone out. This is pretty easy. There's only one guard who ever looks in this room, and he's on a really long patrol route. So I just wait a little bit and I'm able to drop the bomb and get away without anybody noticing me. Then I go back to the officer room and detonate the bomb. From here I just wait for everyone to calm down and then I head to the basement. Surprise, surprise, the prisoner is Agent Smith, who managed to get captured again. To kill my target and save Smith, I sneak around to the observation room that has one-way glass. From there I just shoot the guy, though this does take 2 bullets since one has to break the glass, it seems like. Which ruined Silent Assassin because I shot the cameras earlier. This is unfortunate, but I don't care enough to try to redo this and get Silent Assassin.
47?
Anyway, Smith disguises himself and we leave thanks to some particularly inattentive soldiers. From here on out, I'll still try to be stealthy, but I don't really have much interest in getting Silent Assassin anymore. It's just a bit too difficult and arbitrary to actually be fun to try to go for. Overall, I really like this mission. It's a bit linear, sure, but it really makes the most of it. Sure, it's kinda hard to get Silent Assassin here, but that's more of a fault of the Silent Assassin system rather than the mission itself. I know 47's a clone and all of that, but did he really have to leave Smith hanging like that? Alright, last general. We really should have killed them all when we had the chance. Well, for added fun, this guy is defecting to NATO and has a briefcase with a missile guidance system in it that I have to retrieve. He's currently held up in a German embassy, which is having a party. Oh, and of course the Russians don't like the guy defecting, so there's a rifle agent trying to retrieve the briefcase before me, so he's probably gonna die as well. In the briefing, I'm warned that the security at the embassy is really tight, so it'll be difficult to bring in any weapons. If you're wondering what tight security looks like, apparently it's one guy at the entrance and a couple other people walking around. Fortunately, there are at least 4 locked doors that I can easily pick open to get inside the embassy, and once I'm inside, everyone just assumes I'm supposed to be there since I'm in my suit. 10 out of 10 security. No notes. The first time I enter the embassy, I head straight for the ballroom and then I look around the rest of the building. Unfortunately, however, it turns out that going to the ballroom causes the rival agent to see you, which makes him panic and he quickly makes his move on the German ambassador. I did not know what this alert meant at the time, so I was far too out of position to try to stop it. So I just do a quick restart and decide to deal with him first so I can kill the general unimpeded. Instead of heading straight for the ballroom, I watch the ambassador to see which office the briefcase is in, and then I let the agent see me. The agent threatens the ambassador, but since I know which office he's going to, I can get there first and hide in a side room. And once the opportunity arises, I just fiber wire the agent and take the briefcase myself. You might be worried that the ambassador is a witness to all of this, but don't worry, he's far too busy freaking out spinning in a circle in the corner of the room to do anything about me. I take the briefcase to the exit and leave it there, and then head back to deal with the general so I don't have to carry it around while I'm doing so. My initial plan was to use the poison I found to try to poison a champagne, but I spent a long time trying to find a waiter's outfit somewhere and I just couldn't. So I decided I should probably just try to find another way. Well, he does frequently isolate himself to go watch this maid work, so that should be pretty easy then. I'll just knock out the maid and... oh, I don't have any more anesthetic. Well, that complicates things. I then spend a while trying to find some way to get the general or the maid to change their cycle, or move somewhere else, or find some way to distract or knock out either of them, and unfortunately I couldn't find anything. So I just shot the guy. Despite the fact that the maid comes running out, sees the dead body, opens the door, revealing said dead body to a bunch of guards and everybody else at the party, no one actually finds the body, so I don't get an alert, and I get to keep Silent Assassin. Stealth. I'm noticing a trend in these old Hitman games. The smaller the map, the better the mission tends to be. Giant open area? Terrible mission. A building or two? Tends to be pretty good. That's St. Petersburg done, now on to Japan. Japan is a set of 4 missions, much more in the style of Codename. There are 3 shorter missions all building up to one big final mission. The ultimate goal is to kill a gunrunner called Hayamoto and take back his missile guidance system. But we don't know where he is, so I have to track him first. And to do that, I need to kill Hayamoto Jr. and plant a tracking device on him, which basically means poisoning his food. This is the point in the game where I truly gave up on trying to get Silent Assassin on these missions. I'll still try to be stealthy, but I'm not retrying for Silent Assassin anymore. If I get it, great, but don't expect it. The start of this mission's pretty rough. There are guards surrounding the house and very few places to hide. I started by just fiber wiring this guy, trying to get through the back entrance to get to the kitchens. But the disguise is basically useless on this mission, so I'm spotted almost immediately and just get gunned down. Next try, I don't even bother with the disguise at all, and I try to go in through the garage rather than the backyard, since this path seems to lead to getting the chef outfit much easier. To get into the house from the garage, I have to honk the horn of a car in the garage to lure out the guard. I didn't know how I was supposed to hide the first time, so I got found, but the second time was a lot easier. Once I'm in the house, I just slowly make my way through to the point of interest on the map, which is the chef disguise. With it, I can chop up a fugu fish that I need to get the poison. There's a couple bowls on this table, but they'll all make it to my target eventually, so I can poison and put the tracker in any one of them. I do guess right, however, and the first one to get taken to him's the one I poisoned. After this, I just exit through the back. I didn't get Silent Assassin because apparently I had a bunch of close encounters. I still have no idea where they came from. This was a nice little mission, and I think this is what these shorter missions should be. The next two missions are the exact opposite of what they should be, though. You know how this game has been designed around the idea of being stealthy? Sure, maybe not quite as much as the modern Hitman games, but these levels have been designed with the idea of Silent Assassin in mind. Well, here they completely forgot. There is basically no stealth in these next two levels at all. And while it's possible to get Silent Assassin on these levels, I genuinely have no idea how you're supposed to do it. I do not think these levels are designed with the idea of getting Silent Assassin in mind at all. Well, after the last level, we finally tracked down Hayamoto to a castle in the middle of nowhere, and these next two levels are all about getting to the castle. Okay, first problem with this mission are the snipers that are just everywhere. I'm not really sure how they're able to see me, but apparently they are. The only way to avoid them is to hide behind some trees or buildings, or get a disguise and hope your cover isn't blown. But it will be though, so prepare for that. On my first try, I killed this guy for his disguise, and I find the agency pickup. It has a crossbow. What the fuck am I supposed to use a crossbow for? Obviously, I just ignore it and move on. The biggest problem of this mission are these guards. Somehow they can see perfectly fine despite the weather, and if you're seen, they will run up to you and check your ID. Because apparently every single soldier here knows exactly where everyone is supposed to be at all times. And of course, once your ID is checked, you'll just be shot. And if you somehow manage to survive all of the soldiers shooting at you, your cover is blown and now you'll just be killed by the snipers. Because obviously they know exactly what is going on too. Okay, then just avoid the guards and you won't have to deal with this whole mess, right? Sure, but if you figure out a way to avoid the guards, let me know. I've tried this a bunch and I think it is genuinely impossible not to be seen by a guard at some point trying to get through this level. So obviously going above ground sucks, but there is a tunnel towards the start of the mission, so why not try to use that? Well, there's even more guards there than there are out on the map. I'm sure you could probably maybe kinda try to stealth through this, but clearly that's not what the game wants me to do. So I just shoot my way through the tunnel. I just really wish this mission was designed in a way that there was a Silent Assassin route. I know Silent Assassin is possible, but it involves using anesthetic on anybody that sees you, and that feels worse than this mission somehow. Oh great, more of this shit. Except this time it's even better, because 47 thought it'd be a great idea to switch back into a suit to start this one, so I have to find another disguise. And yes, I do need a disguise, because there's even more snipers on this map. This mission starts with the exact same problem as before. There's a section I have to get past a bunch of guards, and there's just no way to do it quietly. I try several times, but I always get seen by the guards, which means I always end up getting sniped. Except for this one time where I managed to kill this guy and get past without getting sniped somehow. Great. Now for the actual objective of this mission. There are 3 generators around the map, and I need to destroy or disable them to get into the part of the castle where Hayamoto is. The first one's pretty easy. It's just outside of the castle, and it's only being guarded by one guy. But the next one is in the castle courtyard. Which potential entrance do you think you should use to get into the castle from here? Well, this back entrance still has lasers guarding it, so you can't go through there. And this entrance is actually just a funnel into a death trap of snipers. The first time I went to the front entrance, a guard checked my ID and I died, so I assumed I couldn't use the front entrance because obviously the front entrance would be guarded. So I spent a while running around every side of the castle trying to find a hidden way in. But it turns out the front entrance isn't actually guarded. I just timed a cycle really poorly and the entrance doesn't actually have anybody guarding it normally. Okay, I guess it's maybe guarded. You can't walk up these stairs or you just die immediately, so you have to use one of the doors on the side. Again, I'm trying to be stealthy, but clearly that just doesn't work, so I just start shooting. This level also has ninjas in the rafters. They're kinda hard to shoot because they sorted dodge bullets, but they only have swords, so I deal with the second generator and the last one is inside of a building. This is a perfect showcase of how glitchy these ninjas are. After I deal with the last generator, I make my way to the end of the mission, and along the way I manage to kill a sniper and the rifle drops down to me somehow. I decide that I want to keep it, so I'll have to lug it around next mission. And in case you're wondering, no, I never used it. Okay, so these missions just suck, and you're not even seeing the full hour I spent on each of these missions. You just get the highlights. It's almost like get from point A to point B missions make for terrible Hitman levels. Luckily, IOI learned from this after this game, and this design philosophy was quickly lost to time as it should be. Where were we? Oh, right, Shogun Showdown. Well, first of all, I wouldn't exactly call what I did last mission as infiltrating the castle, but I guess we'll agree to disagree on that. The goals are simple enough: kill Hayamoto and retrieve his missile guidance system. Shouldn't be too bad, and I'm already dead. It turns out you can't just walk into the courtyard, you just die, so obviously there has to be a hidden door somewhere, and I find it. I'm gonna give this mission one attempt where I try my best for Silent Assassin, but after that I'm just gonna start killing guards for disguises. 47 did call the castle squeaky and old, so I'm guessing stepping on these floorboards will make a noise and alert the guards, so I walk along the floor beams instead. My plan here is to make it to this point of interest at the bottom, which has a disguise I can use as well as a bomb which I'll need for later. Unfortunately, I get spotted along the way because stealth in this game is hard. So I restart the mission, and this time I just shoot the ninja on the hallway from earlier and I take his disguise. On this mission, the disguises work incredibly well to the point where I can run around people and the guards don't care. I don't know why they're so good on this mission, but I'm certainly not complaining. The disguise makes it incredibly easy to make my way through the hallways. I make it to my goal and I try to leave after picking up the bomb, but this guard kinda bugs out. I'm worried that he'll still try to check my ID, so I try to be as careful as possible, but I'm not really sure that he would ever actually do anything. Kinda looks like he wanted to, but he just froze up or something, I don't know. It's not super prevalent or anything, but the guards do stuff like this occasionally, and it's pretty weird. Now that I have the bomb and a keycard that I picked up along the way, I'm going to retrieve the missile guidance system, which is being kept in a museum in the basement. With this keycard, I can now get past these laser doors, which were stopping me earlier. The guards will still try to stop me, but you can just walk past them, just do not let them check you. Also in the museum are a few other displays, one of which is the 22 suppressed pistol, which you can actually take. It's incredibly weak, but it can get through metal detectors undetected, which makes it actually pretty useful in the upcoming mission. Then I pick up the missile guidance system, which awards me a bonus save, so I go ahead and use it. Sadly, this is the last bonus save in the game. Now for Hayamoto. There are a few ways you can kill him, but I'm going to use the bomb I found. My plan's pretty simple. There's a helicopter in the courtyard that Hayamoto will use to escape if he feels like he needs to. So I'll just plant the bomb from earlier and blow up the helicopter while he's trying to escape. In hindsight, I probably could have just walked straight into the courtyard. I thought the guards would be suspicious of me or something, but they're just not. I also thought that planting the bomb might be suspicious or something, or maybe the guards would be attentive considering they'll just gun you down if you walk up the stairs, but no, I can just plant the bomb. Okay then. I guess nobody in this universe knows what planting a bomb looks like. Now for the slightly harder part of the plan, getting Hayamoto to escape. There's a panic button on the 3rd floor that when pressed, well, it causes Hayamoto to panic. I don't know what you were expecting. Getting to this button is when I learned how powerful the disguises on this map are, since I can literally just walk past everybody with no problems, both going to and from the button. So I just watch Hayamoto on the map, and when he's by the helicopter, he goes boom. This mission's pretty good, especially compared to the last two. This level has a bunch of cool ideas, though it did really feel limited, but I think that's mostly because it's Silent Assassin, ultimately. There are a couple more ways to kill Hayamoto. Mei Ling is back on this level, and you can talk to her to get a key card up to Hayamoto, and then you can help her escape again. Unfortunately, aside from the Li Hong assassination remake and contracts, this is the last appearance of Mei Ling. I would have liked to see her become a recurring character like Agent Smith is, but oh well. Now let's go somewhere where it's not snowing. Finally, a mission without snow in it. It's a miracle. Anyway, for the Malaysia missions, I have to kill a hacker who has stolen some missile software from the US government, and I have to steal the software back, basically. That's not technically what I'm doing, but I honestly don't really know what I actually did, so I'm just going to say I'm stealing it back, because that sounds simple and good. The first mission is basement killing. My guy is in the basement, and I have to kill him. Oh, and disable the surveillance too while I'm at it, I guess, but that doesn't make the mission sound very good, now does it? I start by just asking if I can get into the basement.
On the way to get to the basement, please.
Sorry, sir. You no can go basement.
Well, no harm in asking, I suppose. Then I get an interesting notification. My target has ordered a pizza. Now this I can work with. I try to fiber wire the pizza guy, and that goes horribly wrong. So I just restart and try to not be terrible at the game next time. I hide him in a stall and take his clothes. That is not what he was wearing at all, but okay, sure, I guess. I dropped my gun here because I didn't yet realize that this one makes it through metal detectors. Then I grab the pizza and try to make my way to the basement. It's pretty clear that nobody actually wants me to go the way I'm going, but nobody stops me either, so I head down. Once I get down to the basement, I spend a while trying to get a door open, and I do eventually, but I realize it's not the one I needed at all. Whoops. I then find where I'm actually supposed to go, and it's pretty obvious that I don't think this is how I'm supposed to deliver the pizza. On my next try, rather than making my way straight for the pizza, I take some time to look around first. There's a laundry chute that I can presumably drop something down, likely to smuggle guns past the metal detectors, but that seems like a lot of work. I then make my way to the firefighter's office, I guess, and I find a disguise I could use. I think I'd rather stick with the pizza guy disguise, so I just leave it. Then finally I realize there's an agency pickup on this map. I probably should have checked that first, but whatever. I love how running is enough to get guards to open fire on you in a crowded building. Oh, it's a smoke bomb. Well, that changes things. New plan. Who needs the pizza boy disguise when I have a smoke bomb I can drop down the laundry chute? This is slightly annoying since there are a couple of guards that are actually doing their jobs well and are patrolling the area in a synchronized fashion. But eventually I am able to sneak through and drop the smoke bomb down the laundry chute. When the bomb goes off, this sends everybody into a panic and I'm able to grab the firefighter outfit for free. From there I just go back down to the basement, shoot the surveillance, then shoot my target. Plot twist, he has a twin brother who I'm probably also going to have to kill now. Lovely. I was a little slow with this whole thing, so I end up alerting the guards, but I'm able to get into the elevator just fine. Overall, this is my favorite mission in the whole game. It's not overly complicated, and there's plenty of ways to do the mission. This mission is just what Hitman is in my mind, and I love it. Alright, now to do something about that stolen software. Again, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I sure am doing something. After looking around the map for a while, I notice there's a VIP on the map, so I'm assuming that's the server administrator. So I'm guessing I have to get him to do something for me. After a bit more planning, I finally figure out my route. First, I sneak out of my starting room past a guard to pick up a spare keycard that's on a table in the room next to me. This keycard allows me access to the air conditioning room, which is good enough. I sneak my way to said air conditioning room and I shoot the server cooler to bring the system admin to the room. This lets me sneak in while he's busy, then I get to bug the server and it's time to leave.
47, this is Priya speaking. Diana's not here right now, but I see the device is working properly. Now, you must access the skybridge to reach...
Now you're probably wondering who Cleara is. I think now's the part of the video where I'm supposed to go on a 1-hour deep dive into this character and who they are, though they only come up this one time and this is their only dialogue. But no, they're nothing interesting. I don't know for 100% certain or anything, but they probably just forgot to get Diana's voice actress to do this one line, so they had someone else do it rather than rehire her. But that's not the fun answer, so I think she's probably the mystery man somehow. Anyway, now it's time to leave. I tried a couple of times since I was interested in seeing if I could get Silent Assassin on this mission, but honestly I don't really see how to. It seems like I always end up getting caught and shot at no matter what I do. So I just try to be stealthy but just make a run for it. To get out of this mission you have to shoot this glass and cross the sky bridge to climb up into the next mission, which is actually kinda cool. Overall, I'd say this mission's fine. It doesn't really need to exist or anything, but I would much rather these filler missions be something like this instead of Hidden Valley or At the Gates. Alright, time to kill the twin of the guy I killed 2 missions ago. You know the one. My client wants this framed as a burglary gone bad, which means I need to steal a couple things while I'm here. And holy shit is this map small. Also, what is this penthouse layout? Where's the kitchen? Where's the bedroom? Why is there no bedroom? I tried to do this mission stealthily a few times, but I always got caught at the start and I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. Apparently if you just run straight forward at the start, that's good enough, but I didn't figure that out. Where did that gun come from? Well, this map is incredibly small and barely has anybody on it, so I just opt for the shoot everybody approach. Don't worry, I let one person live, I'm not a monster. Apparently, more security gets called in if you just massacre everybody, but they all decide they want to funnel into a hallway, so... Well, off to Afghanistan now. The overarching goal for the Afghanistan missions are to recover some cargo or something that definitely should be recovered and nothing bad will happen by doing so. Up first is murder at the Bazaar, where I have to kill a colonel and a lieutenant and retrieve some items from them to figure out where this missing cargo is. Surely you can't just shoot the colonel, right? I mean, surely somebody is watching me. It's broad daylight. Nope. You can just shoot the guy at the start of the mission and drag him behind a building, completely skipping the entire Bazaar part of this mission. It's also worth noting that you can take this guy's disguise, though I think it's a lot worse than not having one at all. But it does actually make sense, so I'm fine with it. Now for the lieutenant. He's in a building that is actually being guarded, so I have to wait a little bit to get an opening from the guards to sneak in. However, once I do, it's as simple as just killing him. Leaving, on the other hand, is a lot more complicated. I try both fiber wiring and just shooting the guy, but it seems to alert the guards no matter what I do. I'm pretty sure if you're fast enough with this mission you can get in and out without alerting anybody, but I could never get that to work. However, I can just make a break for the exit. There's not too many guards on this level, so I can just shoot a couple and get away without dying. I'm sure this level might have been a bit better if I didn't just immediately kill the colonel, but whatever. I'd say it was still fine, but the next mission, however, is absolutely not fine. I think the Motorcade Interception is the worst mission in this game, and it's not even close. The goal is to kill a local Khan who is being escorted by UN troops, but I can't kill any of the troops. Fine enough, but in addition, I have to kill the Khan before he gets to his palace to make some kind of arms deal or something. So it's a sniper mission. Yay. You don't start with a sniper on this mission, so you have to meet with a contact who gives you one. However, before doing that, I look around the map to try to figure out what my route is. Cause, yep, this is another level where you're hiding a sniper rifle from people. Except with St. Petersburg, it was a small part of the mission and wasn't that bad in hindsight. This mission is a major headache the entire time. I never found an intended route, though I genuinely believe there isn't an intended route for this mission. I end up finding a spot that I think might be good enough to end up as. I don't know if it will be or if there's something better, but it'll have to do. Okay, so now I start my attempts to get to my sniper spot. Did you know that the civilians on this map are random? I don't know how exactly they're randomized or anything, but it sure makes it annoying. I don't think I got terrible luck with any of them, but I still feel like they make this mission genuinely impossible at times. Also, this mission just really shows off how bad I think these stealth mechanics are. If anybody sees you, it's a restart. If a guard sees you, they just shoot you and die, and if a civilian sees you, they run to a guard, then they shoot you and you die. The problem is that it's incredibly difficult to figure out where and how you're being seen. There is just very little information given to the player. If you're on a lower difficulty, you at least get the NPC's positions on the map, but if you're on professional, you get absolutely nothing. In previous missions, they were closed and small enough that you could figure out what you were supposed to do, but here, You just genuinely cannot tell what you're supposed to do, where anybody is, how they're seeing you, or anything. After several attempts to get onto the roof, I finally do. Except it turns out a civilian saw me somewhere. How, where, why, who knows. I don't know if it's the case, but it almost feels like you can just be spotted on the roofs while you're waiting for your target to arrive. And I finally had an attempt where I made it to the roof without being seen by anybody, or at least I thought I did. Unfortunately, I saved a bit before the civilian tells a guard, and I'm not redoing this whole sneaking section again, so I'm just gonna have to shoot both of them and hope. Oh, and it's not like the actual sniping mechanics are good. I understand that it's hard to hold a sniper rifle perfectly still or anything, but 47 is a genetic clone specifically designed for this. Can he not hold it still for 2 seconds? Oh, and it's also kinda hard to figure out where your target actually is. Well, I shoot the guy and alert everyone, because how can you not alert everybody? Now the best part, how do you exit the mission? Obviously, the only exit on this mission is in the back of the palace. I thought that the entire fucking point of this mission was so that I didn't have to go into the palace in the first place. My only hope is to abandon my sniper rifle and make a run for it. That works exactly how you would expect. I don't think this mission is technically as bad as the 2 Japan missions were. I don't even think it's as bad as Plutonium Runs Loose was. But this mission just feels uniquely defeating. It always seems so easy to be able to get Silent Assassin, or at least do it stealthily, but no matter what you do, it feels like you are constantly at the mercy of RNG, and it feels terrible. Next mission. This one was awful. Alright, last Afghanistan mission. I've got to take out another lieutenant and recover the cargo that I've been after this whole time. Specifically, I have to get it up to the helipad marked on the map. First of all, the map is very small, so at least that's a good sign, I guess. There are 2 entrances to the underground bunker. I think both of them can be viable, but the closer one seems to be less guarded, so I'm gonna go through there. I grab a disguise before I do, though I genuinely don't know that they do anything at all in this mission, but it feels weird not to have one. I really would like to play this like a stealth game where I don't just have to shoot anyone who gets in my way, but this guard is just sitting here and hasn't moved in forever, and it doesn't seem like he's ever going to. I try to distract him with some running, but it doesn't work. The other entrance is even more guarded, so I'm just gonna have to rule that one out completely. I just end up shooting the guy and moving on. It doesn't feel like I have much of a choice. Why is there a moat in a underground bunker? No, seriously, why? What could this possibly help accomplish other than flooding the bunker? I look around the bunker a bit and it seems like I'm gonna have to find my target myself, although from looking at the map I can already tell where he's gonna be. The one thing this moat is good for is being able to stealthily explore a little better. And it turns out if you crouch in it for too long, you can actually take drowning damage. But I do figure out where the cargo is and how to bring it up to the surface. Alright, so the final plan for this mission is to just shoot the guy out front to get in and then slowly make my way to the room on the right to kill my target. There are a couple patrolling guards, so I have to wait a little bit, but getting in isn't too hard. I kill my target, who decides he wants to hide in the closet for some reason, and then I dip down into the moat to make my way to the cargo. This probably isn't necessary, but they put the moat here, so I'm gonna use it. Getting past the guards in front of the cargo was pretty easy, and then I just send it up top. But to finish the mission, you have to clear the area around the helipad so the helicopter can pick it up. I have no idea how you're supposed to do this if you want a Silent Assassin rating. Maybe enough anesthetic? I don't know. So I just shoot a couple people, mission ends, and a helicopter of people who look like they really shouldn't get the cargo. This mission is fine, it's just kinda forgettable. Honestly, all of the Afghanistan missions were pretty forgettable, though the Motorcade one definitely took some work. Well, I'll have to go to India to deal with the cult that got the cargo, because shockingly, it was not a good idea for them to get it. Please attempt to contain your shock. Good news, all of the India missions are actually pretty good. Up first is Temple City Ambush, where I have to get information about this cult. Well, to start with, I go towards my source of information, who I think's location might be random, though I'm not quite sure about this one. Anyway, I go there and he sends me to Agent Smith, whose location is absolutely random. I meet with Smith, who is currently paranoid about some assassins that he thinks are going to kill him, and he is also getting very, very drunk. Fair enough, I suppose. Well, he wants me to kill 2 of these assassins and take pictures of their bodies to prove they're dead, and he'll give me more information and show me a hidden route to get to the cult. Sure. I think the positions of these targets are also random, but again, I'm not super sure. Technically, there's only 2, and you only have to take pictures of 2, but there's actually 3 targets on this map. Up first is the sniper, who's hanging out somewhere in one of these plaza-type places. Obviously, he's going to try to shoot you if he sees you, so I have to sneak up on him. I spent far too long running around the building trying to find the stairs up to him, only to overlook the place where they obviously would be. Lovely. I try to fiber wire him since it seems like a perfect opportunity, but using the fiber wire in this game is incredibly difficult for some reason, so I just have to shoot him. And I take his picture and head out for the next guy. Or, more accurately, the next guy kinda found me. This purple hat guy is the one who isn't technically a target, but he will still try to kill both me and Smith, so I have to kill him anyway, though I don't need to take his picture. So I just lead him to a corner where nobody's looking and shoot him from around it. Just pretend I didn't miss. Now for the actual target, who's wearing a blue hat this time. Obviously, he isn't super in on this whole cult thing, since it takes a while for him to actually follow me, despite literally bumping into him multiple times. Eventually, however, he ends up in another corner, and I shoot him just like the last guy. I take his picture and head back to Smith. He then tells me where the exit I should take is, and is going to lead me there, but he's not as think-as-you drunk he is, so I'm on my own. The exit might also be random, but again, I'm not really sure on this one. Whatever the case, I got really lucky and the exit's right by where Smith was. This was a nice mission, but there's not really much else to say about it. To deal with the cult, I have to take out the lead doctor and deal with the actual leader. Up first is the doctor. Specifically, I have to kill her and hide her body in a closet that I have to get a key to. I don't really know why that's an objective here, but sure. Also, there's no briefing on this mission, it's just what Smith told me last mission, which is a little odd, but whatever. The map doesn't seem too big, so hopefully this shouldn't be too bad. And I'm shot on sight. After a few attempts of exploring and looking around, I decide that the best entrance would probably be through the sewer system. In hindsight, I think the best way to get in would be to kill one of the guards and take their disguise, but I was still trying for silent assassin somewhat, so I didn't do that. But really, it didn't seem like there was a good entrance, and damn security doing their jobs for once. Well, the way up from the sewers has me pop out in the middle of the fountain, smack dab in the middle of the pond where basically everybody is looking. Great. I also saved after I got off the ladder, but before I realized what my predicament was, so I spent a long time trying to salvage this situation. I think the big problem is that someone saw me climbing off the ladder. There are 2 potential disguises marked on the map, a patient and a cult member disguise. I tried going for both of them, but neither of them ended up helping me. The cult member disguise already has somebody in the room, so that one's just never going to work, and the patient disguise is just too far away. I make the guards too suspicious by the time I get to it, so they'll still just shoot me immediately. Eventually, I just accept my fate and restart, and I'm more careful about climbing the ladder. Not like that actually helps me a whole lot, though. I am still smack dab in the middle of the map where everybody is most likely to be looking. But this time I'm not seen coming up the ladder, which helps, but there are still guards basically everywhere, and climbing out of the fountain is still rough. I spent a bit trying to find the timing, though the timing ended up being just rushing out as fast as I can. This kinda felt like a trend the whole game. I go for the patient disguise since it's much more useful and I can wait until all the rooms are clear to grab it. Then once I get it, I make my way towards the agency pickup to grab the key. There is one guard in the way, so I just shoot him. Since I have the patient outfit, I have an appointment with my target, which will make this next part a whole lot easier. The nurse brings me up to her, and once she leaves, I just try to fiber wire her, which fails miserably. Next time I just shoot her. Though as I'm trying to drag her body into the closet to hide it, the mission fails. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm assuming that since it's a mission objective to hide her body, if anyone sees it, the mission just fails. Well, third try, I do the same thing but faster, and the mission doesn't fail this time. I end up leaving the way I came in, and I'm off to Hospital Island. because apparently this one's not a hospital or anything. I don't know. I liked this mission. It was pretty challenging, but it actually felt challenging in a good way for once. For terminal hospitality, I just have to kill the cult leader who was undergoing heart surgery. Sounds fun. For my first try, I'm just trying to find a route to that shrine where a cult member outfit is, as well as a bunch of weapons hidden in the shrine. Obviously I die, but I have my route now. Inside the shrine are guns, one of which is a sniper rifle of all things. For the next few minutes, I was dead set on trying to use it to kill my target. The cult member outfit is good enough for getting into the hospital through a side window, but not much else. And this is when I was no longer dead set on trying to use the sniper rifle. So I guess I'll just kill him on heart surgery then, that seems much more satisfying anyway. This means I need a doctor's disguise, and I know just where to find one. I head upstairs into the office marked on the map. I wait on the balcony for the nurse to not see me while I'm lockpicking this door. Once I'm inside, the agency pickup is technically night vision, which doesn't seem useful. Technically night vision is on a bunch of these maps, but I haven't used it then and I'm not gonna start now. But through the door is the much better prize, a doctor's disguise. Once I have this disguise, I head down to the basement to deal with my target. First thing, I have to actually locate my target. There are 4 different operating rooms and my target could be in any of them. I'm pretty sure the intended way to locate your target is by climbing up into the vents and looking through them to see which room has the cult members in it. But I did just save so I can just walk into the rooms and reload once I find them. Because walking into the wrong room gets you shot. Okay. Wouldn't want to be a doctor here. Now that I found them, I just need to find a scalpel to, perform the surgery with. There are 2 options. One is in a locked room, and another is in a room with a nurse that alerts guards if she sees you grab it. I would just go to the locked room, but a guard happens to be patrolling by that spot in my save, so I just go to the room with the nurse and wait a few seconds before grabbing the scalpel. There's one last thing I need to do to prepare the surgery. I'm gonna need a way to escape after I kill my target, and I'm getting the sneaking suspicion that I'm not just gonna be able to walk away and take the elevator. So I take the opportunity to pick open a door next to the operating room. This takes a couple tries, because if you don't stop and crouch before picking the lock, it somehow makes enough noise or something and the guard will come and investigate. Kinda weird, but whatever, a lot of this game is kinda weird. Killing the cult leader took me 2 tries. The first time I'm not able to get away fast enough since the animation of killing the leader takes far too long. The second time I discovered that I can attack with the scalpel, which cancels the animation. Somehow this doesn't get me shot, but I'll take it. Now I have ample time to get far away enough that they lose me. When I almost get away, some mysterious person tries and fails pretty horribly to shoot me. Then he disappears. Okay, whatever, I'm just gonna leave. Overall, I really enjoyed this mission. It's a little linear, but it's very well made, which more than makes up for it. I know you can try to shoot the guy with the sniper rifle through the vents, but I don't really know of another way you can do this mission. But the intended way was pretty fun, and nets you silent assassin, so I'll take it. So apparently the cargo that the cult received was nukes. Obviously. So Sergei was playing us this whole time, and he wants us dead now because apparently 47 is the reason the cult got caught with the nukes or something. I don't know. What I do know is that the next mission is to go back to St. Petersburg and kill Sergei. Going into this mission, I don't get to bring any equipment with me. No, there is not a reason given at all. Yes, this is just as dumb as the setup was, though this time at least the mission design necessitates it. But no, it still doesn't get a pass from me. This mission gives you a sniper rifle again. No, you cannot make me. No. Given my experiences with sniper rifles in this game, I'm just gonna leave it here and save it for a last resort. It doesn't even come with ammo. You have to go to another pickup to get ammo with it. I'll figure something else out. Just not a sniper rifle. Please God, anything but a sniper rifle. I actually really like the environment in this mission. It still manages to feel ominous, but the square is back to being used as it normally would be, rather than being locked down like it was the first time. I wonder, can you get hit by cars in this game? It slows down and swerves to not hit you. Well, I'm disappointed. I wanted to get squashed. I'll be back. I head towards the main building in the square, and I get sniped. Lovely. I take a different approach the next time to see if I can get a better view of what's happening, and I use the binoculars for the first time ever. This is Agent 17. Apparently he's a clone that 47 missed when he killed everyone in the Romanian facility, so that's lovely. To get past him, I use the tried and true strategy of walking forward and hoping that the bullets don't hurt too bad. Don't worry, I figure out what I'm supposed to do later. After walking into the building, I'm able to sneak up on Agent 17 and kill him. Because you still get fiber wire going into this. They couldn't take away your fiber wire, that'd be too much. Anyway, I get a lore dump cutscene after killing him. Surprise, surprise, Sergei isn't here and this whole mission was a setup to kill me. Now the guards are trying to lock the place down and prevent me from escaping. Obviously I get killed on the way out since I forgot to swap ties with 17. Okay, no problem then, I'll just redo it and grab his outfit this time, except I'm never able to fiber wire him again successfully. I don't know if this is a game problem or a me problem or what, but I just could not do it. I end up restarting the mission to set up my saves better, and I avoid 17 by going from the side entrance to the main entrance so he won't see me. Even after restarting and saving right next to him, I still just could not land the fiber wire no matter what I did. When Agent 17 notices you in the room, he drops the sniper rifle and pulls out a handgun to shoot you. I think you can see where this is going. The sniper rifle only has one bullet in it, but theoretically you could use it rather than trying to strangle him. This goes about as well as you would expect, but I do manage to eventually land the shot and save, so I never have to do this again. This time I make sure to swap ties with him, and I make my way to the sewers to try to escape since I assume the disguise won't last for long. Yep, I was right. Of course now there's guards in the sewers too, which makes escaping through here much more difficult. It really doesn't help that I went the wrong way. But somehow I managed to run past the guards and escape anyway. Now Sergei has come for me himself. Sergei and his men have taken over Gontranno, and now I have to kill them all to rescue Vittorio. Obviously I don't have any equipment coming into this mission since I can't exactly get to the tool shed right now. I started by trying to stealthily take out a couple of the guards in the courtyard to make it to the tool shed, but it's just so incredibly difficult to silently take out anybody in this game. It's even worse since I only have a fiber wire, so I really can't kill anybody, basically. Obviously this goes about how you would expect. So, new plan, book it for the shed and grab a gun there. This works a lot better. I also really like these types of levels since they finally give you a reason to use all the guns you've been collecting throughout the game. There are a lot of guards inside the church, but their AI is, really bad. It seems like the enemies have to directly see you for their AI to activate or something. So most of this mission is just watching enemies stand there while everybody else dies around them, but they don't do anything about it. Once everyone else is dead, you have to shoot the heart in the confession booth to wound Sergei, who then comes running out to kill you. He's actually pretty tough to kill, and it took me a few tries. Once he's dead, the game's over and the ending plays, which I actually quite like.
My son, I knew you will come back. Please, take this. It will protect you and keep you from harm. Pray for me, my friend, and promise me you will follow the right path. Promise me to live your life the right way. Promise me to follow your calling. Promise me.
I promise. You have been a friend to me, but I must leave this place. As you see, I can be of better use elsewhere.
My son, always watch your step. Carry this crocifisso, that symbol of the good things in human beings. Questo ti proteggerà da lui.
Thank you, Father. I must leave. Always knew I never belonged in this world. I wasn't made for this. But I'll never forget those who betrayed me, and those who never failed my trust. I'll be carrying nothing from Gontranno but this lesson. Never trust anyone, and rely on your instincts. Forget the past. I'll never find peace here. So, I'll seek justice for myself. I'll choose the truth I like.
So overall, I'd say this game is okay. I'd say it didn't really age well, but I don't think aging is the problem here. It feels like half of this game was designed with Silent Assassin in mind, and the other half was designed with, oh god, we can't deviate from Codename too much. And I think that's what causes this game to suffer the most. There's other problems too, like needing to walk basically anytime anybody sees you. This would be fine if walking wasn't so painfully slow. Don't even get me started on crouch walking. Overall, the disguises just need to be a lot better. It makes sense that some of them don't work very well, but they're just completely useless for far too many missions. The best way I can describe the disguises is it's kinda just like everybody's an enforcer in World of Assassination. You can probably imagine how miserable that would make the game. The actual level design of most of the missions is decent, except for the few standouts that are atrocious. Looking at you, Japan! But ultimately it does feel like the bigger missions like Shogun Showdown are being held back by how limited this game actually is. So, is this game worth playing? Well, if you've never played a Hitman game before, absolutely not. But if you're already a fan of Hitman and want to play an old Hitman game to see where the series came from, this one's definitely worth checking out. You can really see how this game laid the foundations of what a Hitman game is. Though of course being the first one to do that means it's not going to be the best or anything. And if you do play this, just don't go for Silent Assassin, it's just not worth it for most of the missions. Oh, and there are at least two other things this game has going for it. First, this is the only Hitman game where you can just straight up juggle people with the ballers. I mean, look at how far I can launch people with these things. And last thing, you can fiber wire Sergi through the wall. This leads to the greatest ending to a Hitman game I have ever seen.
It's not difficult. I'll kill you! Sure. Is that the best you got?